Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, hello people. I am Muhammad Ridwan Syawali from 40 class, Department of English Education, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teaching Science, Islamic State University of Jakarta. And in this video, I would like to tell you about the textbook summary. On previous video. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Well, hello people. I'm Muhammad Ridwan Syawali from 40 class, Department of English Education, Faculty of Tarbiyah and Teaching Science, Islamic State University of Jakarta. On the previous video, I have told you about the novel story that I have told you before on the previous video. I hope you enjoy the video. And in this occasion, in this video, I would like to tell you about the book, which is, in my opinion, it is an amazing book. And the textbook, the title of the textbook is Adventures in Reading, which is written by Henry and Christian Newman and published by McGraw-Hill in New York 2003. And it contains 116 pages, and this type of book is workbook. So I'm going to tell you in the first chapter. First chapter, from page 2 until 3, from page 2 until 10, that begins with a story about a man finding an expensive necklace in the grass. With this story as the content of Chapter 1, students can increase their reading skill in identifying cause and effect, and also can increase their vocabulary about jewelry. The second content is of the second content of this chapter is a story about a couple decides to move back to Cambodia from page 11 to 20. And in this chapter, students supposed to master scanning ability in reading. And for vocabulary development, students are given new dozen vocabulary about emotion word. And the third chapter is a teenage candidates. From page 21 to 26, a teenage boy runs for city council is a short which became main content of chapter 3. And in this chapter, students not only can get new vocabulary about 14 terms, but also they can learn about using context. And the assignment which students get in this chapter is teamwork to vote and land development. And the fourth chapter is the 24-house hiccup. From page 27 to 31, it's contains a main story about a man trying to cure his hiccups. And with this story, students learn many things about reading and vocabulary development. And for reading, students are asked to find details of the story. Students are asked to find details of story. And for vocabulary, students will be able to describe health problems. And the fifth chapter is the story of Amanda, who literally heartbreaking, from page 32 to 38. And the main story is about an adopted woman writes to her birth mother. And through this story, students are expected to be able skimming skills on reading. Besides that, students also expected to get many vocabulary through using a family tree. Next, in the sixth chapter, is about a new heart from Mr. Fuji. About a new heart for Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji from page 39 to 44. And reading skill and vocabulary development focus in this chapter is putting events in order and learning about vocabulary of body organs. And the story used to help the increasing of skill in this chapter is about a heart. It's about a heart transplantation clinic, Mount Fuji. Next, the second chapter. The second chapter, same as chapter 3, from page 45 to 48, is reading skill focused in this chapter is canon. The story is used about a couple takes a safari in Botswana. Through this story, students get new vocabulary of grouping types of animals, or it could be say African safari. And the 8th chapter is a story about humanity from page 49 to 57. And the story tells about a couple helping build a house for habitat for humanity. And reading skill focused in this chapter is making inference and vocabulary development. Short here is learning synonyms of job. Next, the name chapter. Name chapter tells about going to Lantern Festival from page 58 to 62. This chapter begins with the story about a girl goes to Lantern Festival in Taiwan, and through this story, students are asked to be able identifying time phrases and learning words of paradise. And next, the 10th chapter. The 10th chapter, same as chapter 1. The reading skill focused in this chapter is identifying cause and effect. From page 63 to 69, the story used is about a laid-off worker becomes a street musician. And in this chapter, students are supposed to learn about qualities for their vocabulary development. Next, the 11th chapter. This chapter is about term paper travel from page 70 to 75. It tells about reading skill focused in this chapter. It's same as in chapter 8. It is making references. To increase this reading skill, author gives a story about a teenage girl buys term paper on the internet. Other advantages on this chapter is increasing of vocabulary development of synonyms for school words, like that. And the 12th chapter. The 12th chapter contains a main story about monkey helps a woman with special needs. From page 76 to 83. With this story, students learned about skimming skill in reading, and students also learn many things about special needs vocabulary. And next, the 13th chapter is snowboarding with friends from page 84 to 91. The reading skill focused in this book are mostly same. For proof, the reading skill trained in this chapter is same as chapter 4. It is finding details of story, and the story told in order to train this skill is about a Korean boy goes snowboarding for the first time. And the vocabulary gift in this chapter is about jobs and tools. And next, the 14th chapter is about two cousins learn how to survive in the desert. In the desert. It's the main story of the chapter. Here, students are asked to train their scanning ability for the third time. As for vocabulary, students are given many words of vacation. This chapter is from page 91 to 96. And the 15th is the Great Rhino Balloon Race from page 97 to 109. In this chapter, students can train their reading skill in using context for the second time after in chapter 3. And the story used in the chapter is about a man who goes to balloon race in Reno, Nevada to develop students' vocabulary. The chapter gave many repetition words. And the last chapter is about a surprise movie from page 110 to 160. Of course, this story, story of this chapter is about movie. And the other told a story about two boys make a digital movie. Through this story, students get new vocabulary about jobs and they can increase their reading skill in making inferences. Okay, I have told you about all of this chapter in this book, and according to me, this book is a workbook on which is focused on a reading skill. There are several skills on this reading trained in every different chapter of this book. A chapter contains some story, and every single of this story has its own task in each chapter. For example, chapter 1 has a story about job and task to train. And it has a story about job and task to skim. And chapter 2 has a story about jewelry and task to scan. First skim, second scan. And chapter 3 has a story about school and task to use context. Okay. Besides that, this book is not only train student skill in reading, but also gives many new vocabularies for students. So this book contains story tasks, and story of this book is neither too difficult nor too easy, and so that it sucks. And the story on the task of books sometimes is difficult on one chapter and easy in other chapter. As for the difficulty of the level of this book is best for new student in high school, new student of senior high school. So in brief, this book is too difficult for student of junior high school and too easy for student of senior high school. So it is better for first grade of senior high school. Yeah, so this book is recommended for first grade of senior high school. First grade, not second or third. Next, why I like this book? Because this book has enough picture in order to make student more easy to understand the story and the task well. And this picture is used as an illustration of the story and the task. And through this illustration, students who are initially have difficulty in understanding the story and the task finally can understand with the help of illustration. Besides on all of the illustrations, in memorizing new vocabulary given through images tends to be very long in memory. So this is effective. Effectively taught in memorizing new vocabulary. But besides all of the best from this book, I just like this book still has a deficiency. One thing I do not like from this book is that this book doesn't have the answer key in the end of the book. I think answer key really helps. It's helpful for students who want to self-taught learning the key answer. And as for students who use answer key for cheating, it is depend on student. The important is that the answer key is helpful for they who really want to self-taught learning. Yes, who really want to self-taught learning. And with the answer key, students can practice their reading skill and answer the question everywhere and whenever even though they are not at school. Okay. I thought this book is very good for first grade of student of senior high school. The story and the task is neither too difficult and not too easy. In brief, this book may be very difficult for student of senior high school and may be very easy for college student, in my opinion. And for me, this book is easy, but several parts will support me to recognize the meaning of word and open the dictionary. So if I read this book, I have to find another dictionary for more in understanding this book, like that. And so in the scale 1 to 10, I gave 2 for this book. I think that all my opinions about this book. Thank you for watching my video in this moment, and good luck in our life. Last for me, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.